Well, hello there folks, and how is it going? And welcome back to another video, and welcome to Spain. Oh my God, we've landed here in probably the most rushed that we've ever been. Wow, did we get treated to some absolutely beautiful light over on these mountains over here, and I really hope I was able to capture them, because it was all a very rush and mad scramble. So here's hoping the rest of the trip is a bit more calm. I'll have to put the name of the village on the screen because I really don't remember what it's called. But the ultimate idea was potentially just to be here for sunrise, but it's just so beautiful here now. We're hopefully trying to capture a lovely blue hour image of this village. It's absolutely magnificent. So, but for now, what I'm going to do is I'll pop up the images that I absolutely rushed to get, and then we'll have a look at this one here. I'm still fine-tuning this particular composition that we're looking at right here behind me. So let's do that for now, and I'll be back to you now in just a second.
Welcome, friends, to the ASMR photography studio. Oh my God, were we treated to some absolutely glorious light on our first night. Randomly pulling into this car park, panic mode was activated immediately, and I managed to rush down, find a few decent enough compositions to help capture this mighty mountain that stood tall and proud in the landscape. The first image in this sequence is just a dead straight look at the peak of the mountain as it captured the last of the golden light. Oh, it was so quick, I had to move so fast. Just when I thought all hope was lost and the light had faded, this deep red glow creeped its way up across the mountain, and I was ecstatic. I could not believe my eyes. It was absolutely breathtaking. I set up the tripod and captured this long exposure, which enabled me to add a bit of extra dynamism to the frame, and then scrambled around trying to find another composition. And thankfully I managed to find this beautiful tree here and use it as the foreground to help balance and anchor the frame and ultimately capture this gorgeous scene. I love this last image in this set and super duper happy with how everything turned out. Overall, it was just such a fantastic experience and over so quickly. That's half the fun, isn't it, when it comes to landscape photography, is just capturing those fleeting moments of light. Pure magic.
So folks, this is like far exceeding any expectation that I had about photographing this absolutely beautiful village. I really hope you're able to see behind how the street lights are illuminating this cliff face, and there's a castle up there at the top of the cliffs. It's absolutely beautiful. I am essentially looking to create a blend of images for this images, because usually with images like this you want to try and capture the best of the kind of blue hour light and then find that nice happy balance in terms of the artificial light as it illuminates this cliffside. So ultimately this image that you're going to see now in just a moment is most likely going to be a blend. I did have the 10 stop on as well to slow down. I got some really awesome looking movement in the clouds, and if I can incorporate that into the image too, then I will absolutely do that. But for now, it is just so beautiful. It's a real harken back to the kind of travel photography that ultimately brought me into this whole foray. It's really gorgeous, and I'm so thrilled. Like I said, it's just far exceeding any expectation that I had about photographing here, and it's just so wonderful. So let me take a few more pictures and then I'll put them all together. My post-processing abilities are a bit crap, so let's see if it works out for us, and I'll see you in a sec.
So here is the final result of this blue hour shot that I captured of this town. I am thrilled with how everything turned out here, and it's exactly how I envisioned this kind of frame when first coming across this town on Google, and I really do love it. It actually worked out really well, because one of the things you need to consider when photographing blue hour images, as I mentioned before, is finding that razor sharp edge of balance between the artificial light and the ambient natural light. It's such a short window, and thankfully this frame is just one single frame. Even though I rambled on about compositing different frames, I managed to find that super duper narrow window where the balance worked out really well. And I am so happy that it did, because I really love this image. And it's a good reminder to me of, it's a real kind of like travel image, and that's the way that I approach these kinds of scenes when I photograph them. Is like, how would that look on a poster or an advertisement, if you will. It's a gorgeous subject matter to photograph, and wow, I'm so happy with how it worked out, and a real kind of like throwback to my backpacking and travel days of when I used to think myself a travel photographer, you know, which I suppose I technically still am to some degree, but I'm really super duper delighted with how this one turned out.
So folks, I hope that picture that I just shown you worked well. But wow, what an amazing start. We're actually going to come back here tomorrow morning for the sunrise as well. I don't know if Orla captured any. There's like a reservoir here. It's a big reservoir. We'll get some B-roll for you in the morning. But I'm going to try and achieve another picture of this town behind me, hopefully trying to incorporate this wonderful water as a foreground element, and if a reflection works, then marvelous. If not, I'm not going to go too bananas over it. So but for now, this was a mad scramble to get to where I'm standing right now, but wow, it's gorgeous as a vantage point. But I need to head back to the car because I didn't bring any torches with me, of course, and it's getting dark fast. Orla, that wild camera shake that you just seen, I heard Orla shouting she just got attacked by a moth. So that's probably that wild bit of camera shake that you just experienced. So, but look, I'm going to pack up and then we're going to head back to the car, and then we'll get back to it. Well, good morning, folks. Hope you all slept well. Well, you probably didn't, because it's like 2 seconds later from when I was recently rambling at you. Now, unfortunately, we have come down to the water's edge. This is a big, huge reservoir that's here outside of this town. And it's, first of all, the water level is very low. So we had to come down a fair bit to get to the water's edge. And secondly, unfortunately, I don't know if you can see the water, but there is a lot of wind on the water. So it's causing it to ripple, and we're not getting any reflections that we were ultimately hoping for. I am taking some photographs, some long exposure photographs anyways, just to smooth out the water, which is not bad. It's not bad, but you know, it's not what you kind of came to what you had pre-visualized. All hope is not lost though, because on the way down we actually noticed a small patch of purple flowers, which could prove themselves to be nice foreground elements looking at this town. And the sun is coming up from over in this direction, so hopefully when it clears the mountains we might be able to get a nice bit of light on those flowers. But for now, fire away, see if we can make any kind of magic happen with this scene that we're looking at right now, and if it works out any well, then I'll pop it up on the screen for you now.
Bonk. So this I clearly photoshopped. It was ridiculous. I literally just put this in here just for a laugh, but this was what I was kind of hoping for, but you know, maybe with like mist and beautiful light in the sky. So I just put this in here just for a laugh, because sure, why not? Like, the long exposure was nice, but it was just meh. It wasn't nice. Who am I kidding? I would have just been putting it in just to be like meh. but so I thought I would just play around in Photoshop and add the reflection that I yearned for. But so yeah, anyways, look, for now, this is just an idea of the kind of thing that I was kind of hoping for that didn't pan out. But sure, look, such is the way of things. They can't all work out sometimes, and that's okay. It adds to the thrill of the pursuit of landscape photography.
So folks, while we wait for the sun to come up above the mountains, the ground here is absolutely wonderful, and it's so full of textures and patterns. So when in doubt, don't forget to look down, because they can yield some very interesting results. Right now I'm actually looking down. There's this one tiny little I'm gonna say tree that's grown out of the ground. It's not a tree, I don't know what it is. It's like a green thing. It's a plant, a flower, yeah, flower. But it's actually really nice because it's just this lone flower plant in this solitary kind of harsh looking environment. So it's actually proven itself to be quite a nice little photographic subject while we ultimately wait for the light. And we're on our way to head up now to this bed of flowers. And yeah, so pro tip, look down at the ground while you're walking, because you can find all sorts of hidden worlds.
These are just random little plants, so isolated in this harsh environment. They really stood out to me as I was walking past. Thankfully I didn't stand on any of them, but really it's such a wonderful, wonderful opportunity to just find very small, intimate scenes in a grand landscape, and certainly well worth the endeavor of simply just looking down and finding these small little plants that just seemingly pop up out of nowhere. Hardy, long lasting, a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful thing to photograph. The second image I really do love. I love the fact that some of that golden light was ever so slightly creeping in across the ground. Really adds a nice pop of contrast to the overall frame, and I think it's simple. I wouldn't go bananas over them, but they worked out well enough for what they are. So always look down. Don't forget about the small things.
So, well, look where I am, completely surrounded by these wonderful, wonderful flowers. And I wanted to impart a bit of a tip. Again, I know that looking down when I just did was a quality tip for you, but it's always good to make sure you find compositions before you open up your tripod and put your tripod down. And I'm very guilty of this myself, is sometimes that I'll put the tripod down and be like, okay, that's my picture. But it's always worthwhile, particularly in a situation like this where your height plays a role in how you want the image to be framed. I essentially want to use this foreground to like surround the camera in all of these beautiful flowers, and then ultimately lead us up into this beautiful town. And if the light or when the sun comes up from behind this mountain and hits the canopy of flowers that's in front of me here, it could prove itself to be quite nice. So don't settle on a composition just because your tripod is out. Always walk around with a handheld, use the live view, scan around, whether you're in portrait orientation or landscape orientation. It's always worth your while to just to play around in your environment while you wait. And obviously when the light starts to happen, then you panic. But for now, this is really gorgeous, and I'm super happy with what I have found here now. And I am just going to set this up, dial it in as best I can, and then we shall just wait and enjoy the morning. So let's set that up and get it going now.
Now we get into the meat and potatoes of this whole morning. I am so happy that we managed to see these wonderful flowers on the way down to the water's edge, and it really made the morning worthwhile. I love these kinds of images where it's just this like sea of color and flower and nature as it leads you then into a background of whatever it may be, and obviously in this case this wonderful village. My focus stacking abilities are a bit crap. There are maybe one or two blemishes in there, but sure, look, there was the tiniest bit of wind, and what can you do, you know, it's just the way of things. But wow, I'm super duper happy with how this turned out, and for me really gives the idea of being in those flowers, and that's really what I was looking to try and convey here. A wonderful exercise of pre-visualization. Even though it was very haphazardly found, you can still immediately be drawn and find a connection in there somewhere that ultimately brings you to creating photographs, and that's really wonderful, and this is one of those places, so I'm super duper happy.
So one of the things that you really do need to pay attention to when photographing in an environment like this, particularly with a wide angle lens, you're so close to your subject in your foreground, and your background, i.e. this town or village behind us here, is so far away, then you absolutely will need to focus stack if you want a sharp image all the way through. Now, of course, you don't have to, but for an image like this, for me, you really want your foreground to be as sharp as possible and all the way through to the town in the background. So realistically, you're taking many different photographs and combining those together in post to create the kind of final image that we're looking to achieve here. There's also some really nice yellow flowers over here as well, which we might try and see if we can incorporate into a photograph at some point when the light does hit these flowers. But as you can see now, the town behind us here is so beautiful. It's really gorgeous, and just the morning itself is just so beautiful. It's so peaceful and so quiet, and I'm trying my best to not stand on any flowers as best I can. So another thing to take into consideration is when you're in a field like this, don't just go trundling around. But anyways, let's keep going and let's see if we can find the perfect composition here.
This is really just another kind of version of the same idea, but with just a bit more centralized composition. Whereas the previous image had the town up on the top left third, we've got the town now just pretty much slap bang in the middle. There wasn't a great deal happening in the sky, which is unfortunate, but sure, again, that happens. So I just blew out the sky, and I wanted to add like a kind of a misty kind of haze to the frame, which for me really kind of helps kind of balance the image between the really vibrant colors of the foreground. And there's no distraction then as we go through the frame, ultimately bringing us to the village. And catching that bit of light then in the village is helped and emphasized by the fact that there's no blue in the sky, and it's just this really bright negative space up there. And for me, I really think helps balance the composition. It's a really wonderful thing you can do when the skies are a bit kind of boring in a landscape photography kind of aspect. You can just, play around with how you process these images to find that nice happy balance. And for me, I think I did that well enough here, so I'm super duper happy with how this one turned out for sure.
So we wait. That's half the fun, really, isn't it? But you can really see the light. It's starting to creep across the landscape. So no doubt it's going to get to us last, which is okay. But I really absolutely happy with what I've found right now. So it's, again, we just have to wait. But well, what a wait. It's going to be worth it, I hope, because the town is so beautiful. It's just so wonderful here. Peace, quiet, and some birds. And we were just discussing the movement on that water that was down there this morning. Maybe starting to kind of calm down a little bit. So if it does, we'll see. Maybe we can rush back down and try get another photograph down there with those reflections that we were looking to achieve. But for now, let's just relax, take a breath, and enjoy this wonderful nature we're in. So folks, this is the stuff dreams are made of. Look at what is happening around us now. It is absolutely gorgeous. Like, it's absolutely beautiful. And look, I photographed the ocean so much, as you all know at this stage, and I love that dearly. But there is just something so wonderful about capturing this stillness that I am surrounded in. It's so opposite to photographing the ocean. It's just this raw energy that batters you. But this is just, it is absolutely wonderful. It's so beautiful. And I must admit, and don't tell the ocean, but I have missed this quite a lot, because this is just so beautiful, so peaceful, so calm. And the light is just, it's doing exactly what we wanted. I'm going to nitpick. There's no clouds, but sure, look, that's just me nitpicking. But this bird that's tweeting away behind us here doesn't seem to mind so much. So I'm going to go activate my panic mode, and I am going to fire away like a crazy person, and let's see what magic we can muster.
What a difference the morning light makes. I love this photograph, and I am so happy with how it all turned out. The beautiful light catching on those flowers and across the entire landscape. It was just so beautiful to stand there and just, whatever about photographing it in any kind of way, shape or form, just standing there and watching the dawn and the morning evolve across the scene. Wow, it was just so beautiful, and I'm so happy at the opportunity to be able to stand where I stood and photograph that scene. As you can see from this image, in a contrast to the previous two, the golden light on the landscape just makes it sing. It's so beautiful. As the previous two had a slight evolution of light across the town itself, which is nice because it adds as a nice kind of focal point to the image. But when the whole scene is bathed in light like this, it really does help add this beautiful depth and contrast to the frame. And I'm super duper happy with how it all turned out, and a wonderful place. Just, it was stunning. really fantastic. So absolutely delighted with this one.
Well, folks, I really hope those pictures turned out well, because, well, look, even if they didn't, just being here has far exceeded any expectations that I had when planning this kind of trip. It's just been so wonderful. Between last night and this morning, it's just been so incredible. But look, I'm going to leave you here so me and Orla can go and enjoy being tourists for the day. You can go up to the top where that big castle is, at the top of that cliff. So we're going to go and do that and have fun. Well, maybe we'll have some coffee first. And but for now, I'm going to leave you here. So look, as always, if you like the video, do feel free to hit that like button, and if you do fancy following along for more of this Spanish adventure, then by all means do hit that subscribe button. And yeah, so until then, I will see you. So take it easy, everybody. Cheers.